All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a small break since I went from something I actually did know a lot about, which would be the rear naked choke, to that head and arm choke where I spend all my time getting it and having people not escape from it. So it's all theoretical as far as what I would do to get out of that. And please make your own video if you are a higher belt or something like that, or somebody that has an escape that they really like for that head and arm choke. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go into the triangle choke, okay? Because that is a very common choke, and we're gonna do it pretty much from the guard for right now. And I've kind of mentioned some of these escapes already, or these defenses. And the thing about the triangle is it was considered one of the most powerful. Chokes out there for a very, very long time. It was the king of jiu-jitsu chokes, right next to the rear naked choke. It was just those two that really, really made the game. And because it's such a powerful choke and it's such a difficult one to get out of, at least it used to be, there are now a very large library of ways that you can start to get out of it. So let's review how the triangle choke works first of all. Once I get somebody and I've broken the posture down, right, I get this leg over the top, I need to pivot off to the side here, I can come here, flare my legs out, and cricket my legs, like sliding my legs, bringing my knees closer together, right? I get into this position. If I have to, I can pull down on the head. Those are all key things. But notice that right here, his posture is broken down, right? Yes, if he were to stand up, and like really really pick me up and get all the way standing, and I'm just hanging on by this triangle, it's going to be a lot harder to finish. Can I do it? Absolutely. I might go through and I might like underhook my legs here, and I might get this kind of grip or whatever, right? Some like chaining around, or even up here. I could like feed in and use this hand for more leverage or whatever, if somebody stands. So it's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie. Somebody starts to stand up, you have to support your own body weight. If you don't have the core strength for it, you don't have the leg strength for it, it's going to be really hard. And also the mechanics change of it, right? So let's think about that. When we're talking about the rear naked choke, because the triangle is really just a rear naked choke with your legs and they're facing your crotch, right? So you're actually facing them. So, but the same thing is like, this is the triangle. This shape in here that his neck is stuck in is a triangle. And so when I am trying to finish a rear naked choke, right, I make the triangle smaller and I dig into these sides, into the side of the neck, and I push his head down into this this wedge here, right? So when we're talking about a triangle choke, right, the same things generally happen in here, right? I'm using the shoulder now, just like with that head and arm choke, and I'm pressuring in. I am if I'm pulling down the head, I'm pulling their arteries into my thighs, and I'm making that space smaller. But I don't have I don't have a chopping arm when I'm doing a triangle choke, right? So it's a little bit different, but it's also in a lot of ways the same. So one of the first things that you can do, and I've already talked to you guys about this and how you follow this up, is that this shoulder pressure is very much so a part of how that triangle finishes. So if he's got his leg up here, I'm going to move my arm around here, right? And he won't be able to bring my shoulder up into my neck anymore. So the triangle is now defended. What's the problem with this? Well, an omoplata is coming, right? He's going to spin his leg over and sit up, and I'm going to get stuck, and I'm going to get my shoulder locked, right? So is there a risk with that particular escape? Absolutely, right? How can I mitigate that risk? Well, he needs to slide that leg over the top, right? So I might, do something to prevent that leg from coming over the top. It's probably not going to happen, but but he also needs to eventually potentially pull out this bottom leg, and that one I might actually have more access to, right? So he has to unlock, right? He has to. Am I thinking about this wrong? One second. So, like I said, this is over here, right? If I'm going to go for that omoplata, I'm going to come here, and I'm going to come around, right? So, if I know that's coming, right, I get this, I might reach up here and hold on to this thigh, right? And what's the purpose of that? Well, he might be preventing me now from coming into that omoplata because I can't spin around anymore. He's staying connected. So that might be like this kind of over-under grip might actually be a decent defense for that omoplata as well as the triangle. Again, that's a little bit more theoretical for me. I know that this is totally legit, but I need to know that once I go for this, I need to start defending that omoplata, right? Another way, and this is not theoretical, that if that omoplata is coming, right? If I know it's coming, I do this. Because how do I need to defend that omoplata? I need to stop him from being able to break my posture down. So by posting this leg out, now I've got something to push off of, right? Right? I have my arm over this way, right? It's going to be very hard for him to get the shoulder lock. Is it impossible for him to finish me? No. But it's something, right? It is something. So we just have to watch out for the omoplata. Or, if I know that I go like this, he's going to go for the omoplata, I might immediately go for the forward roll to start defending that. Or I might work on posturing back up hard so that he, even if he starts to come down and be able to get to that omoplata position, now I've got him seated back up and he won't be able to finish it. But I do have to be careful, right? Because he can just throw me right back into that triangle. Maybe I use this push up as an opportunity to get both arms in so he can no longer triangle me. So there is that defense. Now, when somebody's trying to triangle me, right, one of the reasons why we throw the arm over here is so that we can't do this. It's also going to move your shoulder into a better position to pressure into the side of your neck, right? So one of the things that I might do, like from this position, I might be here, right? He's got that his leg up over my shoulder. I've got this arm in, this arm out, and I'm gonna kind of maybe connect my hands together, and I'm gonna look up. One of the common things I see with this style of defense that is wrong is that people will be trying to posture up like this. Right? If I'm looking at my opponent, which I know he's there, I know what he's doing, I can feel what he's doing, he's trying to choke me, right? So if I am, trying to posture up, but I'm looking at my opponent, I'm not going to be able to posture up fully, right? I need to look up to the sky. Now, as I do that, I'm on bone if I can find it, right? If I'm, right here, above his junk, under his belly button or so, that's fine-ish. But, if I can get onto bone, that's going to be a lot more solid. And I'm going to build that posture up, and I'm going to frame on that, because now he's not going to be able to close it, and I'm looking up strong, right? So I'm getting really, really tall posture here, so it's going to be really hard for him to even, like we talked about this last week, getting this hook in on my inner thigh so that I can't posture up and I can't look it down. So once I start to posture up, I'm looking up, he's going to angry baby, right? He's going to roll his shoulders, and he's going to try to break my posture down this way. So I got this up tall, right? And I'm not going to hang out here forever. This is a temporary position. So what am I going to do? Well, one thing that I could do, right, besides, being able to break his legs open, which may happen, may not, right, is I can start to sit on my butt, and I'll usually put a foot into his bicep here. Now from here, I can start to crunch down, and I can shrug off, and I can pop my head out, because I've got him controlled with my foot, and now he's not going to be able to continue to do that. If I can get both feet, that's potentially better, but there's inherent problems with this as well, right? There is a possibility that he could start to set up leg attacks because I've used this particular escape, but I'm not getting triangled anymore, and I know that those are coming. So be mindful of that, okay? But I can use that foot to kind of start to leverage that out, right? There's also a pass that I haven't covered yet, where basically we haven't done any under passes yet for guard passing. And really, in a way, the triangle position is really just another guard position, right? And so, and we've talked about this as well, is that we don't end up starting in a perfect finished position. This is a process, right? We start off in this position, right? where I've just got my leg over his shoulder. I've got that one arm in, one arm out, and this is going to be my temporary position. I'm going to reach through. I'm going to start grabbing my ankle. I'm going to pivot around. I'm going to walk back up, then bridge and move that arm over. Right? I've got all those steps that I have to go through. Hello, Sheila. In order to get into this position where I'm actually going to be able to finish this triangle choke. Hi, I have a friend. So, any way that I can start to prevent them from getting to that position is going to be very, very instrumental in me starting to escape that triangle choke. So, I fucked up. My arm is out. One arm's in. They're starting to set up the triangle. My first defense, and this is the best thing that you can do, absolutely the best thing, is at this moment, get up. Look up. Looking up is really, really critical in this position. I'm getting up, I'm getting tall, because now he can't get that across the back of my neck. He's not going to be able to finish, and he's not going to even be able to do a crappy triangle because I'm looking up. If I'm looking down, he can pull my head and just straighten out his legs and be able to finish basically a straight scissor lock. But if I'm looking up in this position, I'm pressuring down on his hips, and I'm getting really tall here before he's got that chance to move over, he's not going to finish that. So from here, I'm going to pike up, right? And I'm going to drive into him. I'm going to take this outside arm, I'm going to grab the cross shoulder here. So he's stuck here, and I'm really tall, and I'm pressuring into him. Now I'm going to start to roll my hip, right? You could use the inside arm, but I really want this outside shoulder to kind of start that leverage there, right? So I get here, boom, and I roll my hip. And I'll usually be able to pop out kind of there. I can use that inside hand to create more pressure on that leg to start to pop out. But this is kind of a stack pass, right? And what is this going to look like for the guy who's trying to choke you, right? He's in this position, right? He could be in this position. It still works from here. It's harder, right? This is way easier. I would love to do this all day, right? But he's basically going to push me up, and we're going to be here. I'm going to be sucking on my kneecaps here, right? And I've got a lot of pressure here. I can't breathe. And then he's starting to roll over. And so this is one of those things that's kind of like well, fuck. I'm just going to let him out. Right. I'm gonna live to fight another day because I can't breathe in that position. I'm being stacked. I'm very folded up. My muscles are complaining because they're getting stretched. And he's turning that corner. I can't hold on. It's going to pop out. Now, with a well-established triangle, guys, he might grab onto my head when I start to do that. I might put my hands into his biceps if I can to kind of prevent that, right? But, when it's a really well-established triangle, even stacking somebody is not a guaranteed thing, right? Even standing up is not a guaranteed thing, because he can follow me, right? If I stand up, he's just going to ride it up with me, and he's going to be able to maybe be able to finish it from there. But if I can leverage off of him as I'm standing, right? I'm starting to push on his belt, I'm pushing on his ribs, whatever I can get my hands on, I'm opening up that space around my arteries, and he's holding his own weight. He's probably going to let go of that. But, I have to be persistent about trying to create that space. Stacking him, there's now rotation being added, right? And that's going to leverage the hold apart. So that's going to be a pretty good defense for the triangle. My favorite one is to putting my feet in the biceps and just arching my back and going, whoop, right? Because I'm keeping him in one space. And which brings me to the last thing here, guys. And I think this probably is a good place to kind of end the triangle discussion, is that once, and I forgot where I was going with it. I'm going to blame Sheila. But yeah, so, yeah, I really don't know what I was going to say, and I really apologize for that. But don't let your posture get broken down. Don't let them get to the position where they actually fully lock up that triangle. There are going to be times, like I said, with that knee,
that scissor sweep to knee wipe of the arm up into the triangle, it works really, really well for me for actually landing in a almost submittable position for the triangle, right? So, if you sense, you've got that scissor sweep coming on here, you know that he needs to load you on top, you should already have your posture built up, right? If he starts to wipe that arm away and get into that triangle position, my posture is built up. The reason why I like that particular setup into the triangle is that I can start to steer him down with this arm that I have trapped and bring him down, and that's going to allow me to break his posture down, and also I'm using the rotation of the changing position of my hips to bring his posture down. So everything you can do once you get that across, do not let your posture down, pay attention to this arm, don't let him cross your body with it, right? Anything that I can do to really, really stop him from establishing a good, strong triangle position. So, yeah, let's see what we got next.